Why hasn't silver broken out? Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching Yankee Stacking. Why hasn't silver broken out? I mean, last year, I thought $30 an ounce for silver was a no-brainer. In fact, by now, I thought that threshold would easily be in our rearview mirror. Nope. We're still hovering at $25 an ounce. We did have a nice run-up back in 2020 during the height of the pandemic, and that was before inflation fears really took off. But since then, we've been trending sideways. Price-bound, it seems, within a $22 to $28 range. It just can't seem to break out and get over $30 an ounce. Why? I mean, the bond market is flashing recession, inflation is raging, and commodities have really responded. Copper recently broke its all-time high. And when it comes to precious metals, monetary metals, gold almost broke through its all-time high. It's right there, ready to spring past $2,000 an ounce. But silver? It's nowhere near its all-time high. Are you as baffled by this silver stubbornness as I am, given what copper has done? I am, okay, and I'm sure I'm going to get the classic comment, Yankee, it's manipulation. Okay, fine, go ahead, put it in the comments. And in fact, speaking of comments, I love to give away this 90% silver proof Kennedy $50 to someone in the comments. But you're going to need to listen to the whole video to find out how to win it. You're going to want to watch this whole video, okay? Because something else is going on here, not just manipulation, and I'm going to ask someone quite knowledgeable about it. He knows his stuff. He's all in on these metals, and his company's stock has made massive gains recently. His name is Andrew Lee, and he's the CEO of York Harbour Metals. Don't click away. Please. I reviewed this company back in March of 2021, and if I had pulled the trigger on them a year ago, I would have more than doubled my money. Yeah, it would have been a speculative trade, but dang it, I should have added them to my model portfolio, especially with what copper and zinc have done. But is silver next? Watch my interview with Andrew and hit the like button while you're at it. I'd really appreciate it. Hi, Andrew.
Hi.
Thanks
How are you?
for joining me on Yankee Stacking.
Fantastic. Pleasure to be here.
Hey, inflation
hmm
shows no signs of stopping. In fact, today, April 12th, we got the CPI numbers for March, 8.5%. How does that hit you, Andrew?
Well, it hits me pretty hard, just like everyone else. I mean, every time you fill up, tank of gas, go out for a meal. I mean, realistically, when did a cup of coffee become $5? It's kind of crazy. So yeah, I think everyone's feeling it. It affects everything from housing up. So I think people who are on the lower end of the wealth scale, they're going to feel it even harder. So this is not good.
No. And, the Fed is like so super hawkish right now, right? Do you think they're going to ignore the markets and keep raising rates, Andrew?
I don't think they will, to be honest with you. I think they're limited in their options, and I think they're going to have to, really balance out. I mean, we've got a war going on in Europe, right? So what can they do? I think they might have some very, very hawkish tones, but I think we might see some surprises in the markets. At least that's what I'm kind of leaning towards.
Yeah.
And I'll just give my experience. I told some friends, I said, I've seen this movie before, and you get all this massive spending, And then you get into a situation where you think the rates are going to go up, right? Then all of a sudden it's like, can we? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So you always have to kind of be prepared for both, right? I don't think you can go all in on one side or the other. Have some balance. And I think that's probably a better approach. And if it is hawkish, well, then you'll be ready. And if it is, you got some moments, you can take advantage of that. And I think that's what at least that's what I'm doing myself.
I want to focus our attention on how frustrating it's been over the price of silver. Okay, commodities across the board, it seems, have reacted how we would expect them to during an inflationary time, right? And, copper, zinc, oil, they're all going way up, Andrew.
Way up.
Why do you think silver hasn't taken off yet?
The big times that we saw silver move, like in terms of price in the history, has been like we saw in the nickel market, where there was sort of a squeeze that happened, right? And I think silver has more volatility and is a little bit more affected by traders. And, it's not like gold where, like gold is kind of there. It holds its value a little bit. And right now it's being propped up by, I think, some of the Russian interests. So with silver, I think you can see a much bigger swing. Gold's the indicator. Gold is the lead horse. If you follow gold and the way it's working right now, you're going to see silver not too far behind. In terms of percentage, I think silver has much stronger, multiple gains versus when you look at it in terms of gold prices moving. Now, I was talking to one of my friends about silver. He pegged it at $40, and he's very frustrated. He's like, I can't believe it. But when it does happen, it will happen fast. So, you got to be ready. So now is a great time to be buying silver.
What about the recent environmental, social, and governance? I think it's what do they call it? ESG movement.
ESG, yeah.
ESG with companies, the whole green revolution. Is that what's driving the sky high demand for copper, for example?
Everyone talked about electric cars, and we've had some false starts for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But now, I think with the Biden administration coming out with this whole infrastructure bill leaning towards, hey, we're going to really change the economy for something different. This green economy, well, that's what's helping for sure. I mean, when you think about 180 pounds of copper goes into a plug-in electric car versus, I think, about 60 pounds currently. I mean, you're talking about just tripling in the amount of copper you need just for the car. Plus you need to set up the infrastructure to charge it all, plus you need to get into transmissions, plus the wind turbines that they're talking about, finally, and it's just like on and on. But I could go on for a long time on copper, but it's a supply demand. It's very simple. Right now, the supply is so far behind what the demand is and is going to be in the near future. And there aren't that many copper projects that can come online. And this is a key reason why I've been I've been pushing for copper for many years now. Mm-hmm. I just thought, everyone thought copper, China, if China's economy moves, copper moves, China slows down, copper goes down. I think that was maybe a few years ago, like a decade ago. But right now, I think that story's changed. As we can see, Shanghai shut down, complete lockdown. Copper's still right there. I've never seen copper prices at this level before, and it's only going to go higher.
So as the CEO of York Harbour Metals, you seem to have caught the wave of this commodities boom, especially with copper, right?
Oh, yeah.
Your share price has more than doubled since I reviewed it back a year ago. I think it was called Phoenix Gold Resources at the time. You've changed your name now.
Last year, we were looking for a flagship project to really drive things. And we had a little checklist. We started to check the boxes. This small little past producing mine in York Harbour in Newfoundland, Labrador has great infrastructure. It's 2 kilometers. The project is 2 kilometers from the highway. It's got access to tidewater. Lots of exploration done on it. It's still got the underground tunnels, the shafts. It's amazing, right? And we really liked the grades of copper that we were seeing. The first phase, 9 holes, we hit, I think, on 7 of them. 2 of them where we had to abandon because we kind of hit a fault zone. But the exploration drilling that we did right after it, I mean, we didn't even stop. We just went right into the next phase. That's when we really got the results we were looking for. So I think we're onto something. That's why we changed the name to York Harbour Metals.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. And it's a play across both all the copper, the zinc, and the silver, right?
Yeah. And good junior exploration companies like ours, it's we're finally getting some value, but we're still extremely undervalued compared to some of our peers, and it's we're still not getting the attention as an exploration company. But this is, I think, where we'll have tremendous upside.
Almost everybody listening to this knows who Eric Sprott is, or at least should. He's a legend. I mean, he's a billionaire mining tycoon. Okay, so
right.
Am I right that he owns 7% of your company?
Oh yeah, he owns 7% of the shares out, and I think on a diluted basis, like if he exercised all his warrants, I think he would be closer to 12.5%.
Oh, wow.
So
has he cashed out any?
No,
None.
None so far. Yeah.
Wow. So he's not selling.
No.
He could make a big profit too if he did.
Oh yeah, everyone's waiting to see what we do with the drill, and the results we're getting. I think there's continued interest for sure. 5.25% copper. That's all I keep saying. And we had some holes on the zinc, which was out of this world as well.
I should have followed Eric's lead. So how much of the company is held by insiders or other strategic owners?
Just insiders alone, we're at about 35%. Wow. And on a diluted basis, we're about 40%. If you include all of the strategic associates, partners, and such, I think we're close to 55%. We couldn't ask for a better situation.
So how's the silver looking in your drilling results?
Actually, as a secondary, silver isn't bad. I mean, we've had some holes where we're hitting close to 18 grams. So, 2/3 of an ounce. It's as a secondary metal, those are fantastic numbers.
I'm going to ask you that fair market value for York Harbour in a second. But before I do,
sure,
I'd love to give away this 90% silver proof Kennedy half dollar. And I want to do it in honor of York Harbour. So be the 30th person to put York Harbour in the comments below, and you will win this beautiful silver half dollar. Okay? Again, not the 30th comment, the 30th person. All right? And you have to have a U.S. or Canadian mailing address to be eligible. So what do you think, Andrew? Huh?
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I think somebody will really enjoy that. So silver, copper, zinc. I mean, this is a really good play with York Harbour to get in on some of the base metals as well as the precious metals. Still don't know why silver hasn't taken off yet, but it could be coming very soon, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, I think all of the indicators are that it is coming. It's just trailing a little bit, and, it'll have its day.
All right, so give me your opinion, Andrew. What would be a good fair market value for York Harbour, and why? All right,
and why?
And why?
We're not a pure copper play. We're not a pure zinc play, so it might confuse a few of the investors.
Okay.
In fact, we're hitting high grades on both, so it's a good position to be in. So far, the size is the thing that's limiting us. They think we're fixed on this main zone where we've been very, very active. The drilling hasn't gone too far out of our 400-meter strike area. So basically, they're saying that's your value right now. And I think once we start stepping out, once we hit on the other zones, there's about 4 or 5 areas that we're going to be targeting soon. That's when you're going to see real value come in. And some of the other companies that have comparable land packages, about 5,000 hectares, with similar, probably lower grades, they're trading at about 130, 140 million market cap. And I'm thinking that's where we should be.
Wow.
I think we're probably one drill program behind them. I'm not going to name names, but it's I've been watching them. They're in a very prolific belt, and I think we should be very, very close. So, but that is where I think our value really should be.
How can people get in touch with you, Andrew, if they have more questions about York Harbor?
Uh, Email, they could always call me, text me. Twitter, I'm not as active, but I keep saying I will be. But yeah, I mean, the easiest thing is just send me a text, and I could provide you with my number.
Great.
And you can just
yeah,
put it out there.
If you give that to me, I'll stick all the info in the description
Perfect.
of the video.
Great. Thanks for having me on the show.